at all. I don't know what's happened there. Oh, well. But hello, everyone. I'm going to fade that down slowly. You are listening to and watching the Dead Piett Society podcast. It's Tuesday night. It's just gone 8 o'clock. So we are live on the Bear and also on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Periscope, if you want to watch instead of just listen. Yeah, so there we go. That's proof that it works. I am just about to post a message on all the places that have comments. So on Twitch and Periscope and YouTube and what have you, there is now a comment. So if anyone who is watching this wants to be a part of the show, you can click on that link in the comments and you can jump into the show and join us. For those of you who are just listening, you can come find us on Twitter at DeadPietSoc. That's DeadPiettsOc, and send us any comments there or to the Bear Radio on Twitter as well, and we will read out comments as we go. So what we do on this podcast is we read through some of the weirdest news stories from the past 7 days, and one of us gets to pick story of the week. And the way we decide the winner, the way we decide who gets to pick story of the week, is by playing a stupid little game. And then the winner of said game gets to pick story of the week. And we'll get to that game very shortly. I'll tell you what it is. But first of all, let's introduce it to the team. So there we have... Yeah, this is not going to work, is it? It was meant to be a clip that says my name. Oh, there we go. That's better. I've worked out what the problem was. We also have
Darren Saunders.
And we have
Roy Collins.
Hello, boys. How are you?
Yeah, not bad.
Everyone good? Good.
All things considered. I'm not dead yet. So.
Yeah. Well, that's always a bonus.
That's a low bar, but yeah, let's go with that.
You know,
it's a low bar. But this year, it's one of those things you have to take a low bar this year, I think.
Aim low,
yeah, but this year's
be disappointed.
One low bar, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. This is very true. So, we are going to start with the game. Sorry, the reason I was paused then is that I realised this music is only going out on the video version, not on radio, because of the mistake I've just made. Never mind. So if anyone wondered why we just went silent briefly, it's because there was meant to be music there, but the radio didn't hear it.
We are absolutely cooking on gas tonight, aren't we, boys?
Crushing it tonight. Absolutely crushing it. I had some random issues this afternoon, and I seem to have neglected setting everything up properly as a result. So apologies for that. What I am going to do for this game is we're going to play an old Dead Piett classic, which I'm not sure if you guys have played often. I think maybe I've done this once with you. It is, of course, Obama Llama. I'm going to give each of you some time. Let's go for 60 seconds each. And I'm going to read some clues out, rhyming clues. I have to give you a clue, and you have to tell me what the answer is in the form of a rhyme. I'll give you an example. So if I give you the clue, Kim Kardashian's husband has just revealed secrets to a priest, the answer is Kanye West has confessed. So there we go. That's how to play the game. So who fancies going first?
I will allow Lloyd to go first.
Oh, well, that's very nice of you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's
very nice. Kind.
Very, very kind.
Indeed. Right, on, so we're going to put 60 seconds on the clock. Time will run out when you hear a llama. So we start now. Han Solo admiring a Norwegian loch.
Harrison Ford likes a fjord.
Yes, that'll do. Winnie the Pooh's grumpy donkey friend said a rude word.
Eeyore swore.
Yes. Castaway actor and voice of Woody from Toy Story wearing figure-hugging underwear.
Tom Hanks in Spanx.
Yes, that's correct. Oasis guitarist on holiday in the south of Spain.
Pass.
Luther and the Wire actor is eating a dessert made of ice cream, sauce, and fruit, fairy fruit.
Oh man, God, it's more that I completely forgot the name of the guy. Pass. Damn it.
And there's the llama. You're 60 seconds up. Okay, the
that
two
was
you missed
terrible.
there were Noel Gallagher in Malaga
Ah,
and Idris Elba eating peach Melba.
yeah.
So you scored through 3.
I couldn't work out
Three
the
in
Gallagher
60
one. I was like, Gallagher, where is that one? And then Idris Elba completely.
Yeah, I completely
gone.
blanked on Idris as well. So
Right. Well, let's see how you fare. Then, Darren, with yours, your 60 seconds starts now. Female Empire State of Mind singer preparing jumping parasites for the circus.
Alicia Keys on the trapeze. Oh no, hang
I
on.
will take that because I misread some of it. So jumping parasites for the circus.
Oh, Alicia Keys training fleas.
Correct. Great British Bake Off judge in a Bombay movie.
Oh, Paul Hollywood is in Bollywood.
Correct. Good News Funny Man from Bristol is lacking courage.
Saw something. What's his bloody name? Pass. I can't remember his name.
Okay. Curly-haired 21 Jump Street star wants to empty drink topped up.
Oh God.
Our time is up.
I lost again. This is outrageous.
Two you missed there were Russell Howard is a coward and Jonah Hill wants a refill.
Jonah. I was thinking Jonah. I couldn't think what his surname was.
Well, there you go. It's luck of the draw. You know him or you don't. And Lloyd knew one more than you. So Lloyd is this week's winner again.
Once again victorious.
Shocking.
I feel like I won. I did win. And I'm sure a recount and another recount and a further recount will prove that.
Okay.
It will cost you $3 million.
That's fine. I've got it. I've done a bit of overtime the last couple of months.
Right, so we will move on to our news stories now that we know who's going to pick the favourite. We have 5 headlines. We start each week with 5 news stories. I read what the headlines are, and then we kick one of them off straight away and decide we don't want to talk about it. And then we go through the other 4, and then Lloyd will pick which one is his favourite for this week. So, your 5 headlines this week are bizarre Pokemon trading card ban lifted by illusionist Uri Geller. Joe Exotic reportedly spent $10,000 in Trump Hotel hoping for a presidential pardon. Taiwanese man sells PS5 after a wife realizes it's not an air cleaner. The mysterious monolith in the Utah desert has disappeared. And mayor of Novosibirsk. I knew I was going to stumble over this. I
Let's
didn't
pick the
practice it
last
earlier.
one, the one we ditched, so you don't have to stumble over that.
No, 'cause this one's
Novosibirsk defends decision to shape city's main ice rink like a penis for second consecutive year.
It's a strong week. It's a strong week.
On headlines, I think it's a good strong week there.
Yeah.
Is there any that strike you as being the worst of the bunch?
The monolith, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm torn.
The others I want to talk about.
Yeah, I'm torn between the monolith and the guy selling his PS5.
Oh no, the PS5. I'm happy to talk about that. The monolith can go. I think everyone knows that. I will say one thing about the monolith, which is a monolith like that appeared in Romania yesterday. Today.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday. But hasn't that gone now as well? I think I read earlier.
Possibly, I don't know.
That one's gone now as well.
I don't know.
No idea what's going on. Okay, we'll get rid of the monolith because that is kind of all over the place at the moment. So
everyone
seems
knows
like a good
about
one
that
to ditch. So it seems to be making mainstream news now. So we will ditch that one, and we will then start our news roundup with. Why is there an ad? There's always an advert that pops up right at the inconvenient time.
Someone needs an ad.
So I'm going to share my screen so that anyone. Yeah, I should probably do that. I will share my screen so those who are watching can see this. It is this first story, which this version of it is in the Metro. Oops, I haven't turned that on. There we go. It is bizarre Pokemon trading card ban lifted by illusionist Uri Geller. And it's about the Pokemon Kadabra. And it's been absent from the card game for 20 years after a lawsuit filed by Uri Geller. I find this confusing because I played Pokemon Go for a while when it came out, and I know Kadabras were in that. But apparently it just relates to the card game. It says, Pokemon is no stranger to controversy. The recent Sword and Shield games angered fans by not including every Pokemon. Back in the 90s, the anime became infamous after an episode gave children seizures. But perhaps one of the strangest is when illusionist Uri Geller requested that Nintendo remove the Pokemon Kadabra from the series trading card game. Since the early 2000s, this single Pokemon has not appeared in any official Pokemon cards, but it looks like that will now change as Geller has chosen to lift the ban. In the email sent to the gamer, Geller reveals that he has received countless requests to let Kadabra back into the card game. Due to the tremendous volume of emails I'm still getting, begging me to allow Nintendo to bring back Kadabra, I sent a letter to the chairman of Nintendo giving them permission to relaunch the Uri Geller Kadabra worldwide. He adds that his letter has been picked up by 2 Nintendo representatives, but the company is yet to comment. But why did Geller have the Pokemon banned in the first place? It's because he felt that Kadabra was blatantly based on him, being a psychic type who was seen holding a spoon, reference to Geller's own spoon-bending trick. What's more, Kadabra's Japanese name is Young Geller, appears to be a corruption of Geller's name, although it's more commonly transliterated as Youngera. Since Nintendo have approached him concerning Kadabra's creation, Geller sued the company in 2000 and requested that Kadabra no longer appear in the cards. Nintendo has honoured his request since, though the lawsuit didn't prevent Kadabra from continuing to appear in the video games. There we go. Whether Geller's lawsuit was justified or not, this is still good news for players of the card game and fans of Kadabra. There we go. So that is our first story, all about
I'm loath
Pokemon
to admit
and Uri
it,
Geller.
but Geller does kind of have a point there. I mean, he is a weird-looking creature holding a spoon, and so is Kadabra.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, the face looks kind of like Uri Geller because it's kind of pointy.
Yeah, a weird-looking creature holding a spoon.
I mean,
just waiting for Kadabra to release a video of him holding up a Scotland shirt and saying,
if you went to Hollywood, right, and you wanted to make a movie of this man's life, they'd throw it out and go, "This is not believable." There are too many weird things that have happened here for this to be real. This is not believable. Yeah. But there we go. I mean, he is just the oddest man. But he's led a really interesting, a compelling life in terms of you hear a story about Uri Geller, you're like, okay, what's happened now? You want to know.
Yeah.
It's very, very peculiar.
I mean,
yeah,
I think
it's odd.
that Nintendo should rebrand the character to be a useless charlatan who bullshits and lies to get fame and money. But I mean, that's just completely disconnected from Uri Geller. Just to make sure they don't get sued again.
I want to know the thought process that went through his mind at the time. He saw this, and then he went, "That's just like me. I need to now phone a lawyer." That's the thought process that went through their mind. And he won this case, presumably.
Yeah.
Which then begs the question, how bad are Nintendo's lawyers?
It's more whether they give a shit, to be honest. I mean, I don't think Uri Geller has ever let anything stand in the way of publicity. He doesn't care how it reflects on him. It's just publicity for him.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think as long as someone's talking about him, then he's happy.
Yeah. Whether or not it's because he's a lunatic or,
Oh, quite often I think it's because he's a lunatic.
Well, yeah. It's part of his brand.
But it is indeed part of his brand. But that is story number one. It's Uri Geller and Pokemon. It's two things that I'd never heard of this before. So they're two things that I'd never would have put together in my life. And having seen Kadabra before, I didn't associate it with Uri Geller.
No,
Uri Geller's not the only person to have bent spoons.
I mean, I've bent many spoons in my time. Ice cream is very hard when you just take it straight
Exactly. I
out.
was about to say the same thing.
I'm not conversant with the Pokemon thing at all. So, does the character actually bend spoons as part of his shtick? And I'm talking about the Pokemon, not Gala.
From what I remember, he just holds it. So I've only ever seen him in.
So he doesn't
Pokemon
bend it
Go.
even. The more you talk
I
about this, the
remember.
more I find it bizarre he won the case in the first place.
The Kadabra is the third one of his kind. What's they call them? Evolution. So it starts off with a smaller yellow Pokemon called Abra. No, Kadabra's the second. Abra evolves into Kadabra. And then Kadabra evolves into Alakazam.
Obviously. I mean...
Yeah. Because the naming of Pokemon is just brilliant. That's the story. Kadabra is back in card games thanks to Yellow. So story number 2. This version of it is in Pink News, and it is this: that Joe Exotic reportedly spent $10,000 in a Trump hotel hoping for a presidential pardon. Of course, I should say straight away, he didn't spend that in there because he's in prison. His team.
When I read it.
It says representatives for Joe Exotic reportedly ran up a $10,000 bill at one of Donald Trump's hotels as part of a campaign to persuade the president to pardon him. It says they've been running an extensive campaign to get Donald Trump to pardon the Tiger King star. He was convicted in 2019 on 2 counts of murder for hire for plotting to kill his nemesis and big cat rescue owner Carol Baskin, as well as 8 counts of violating the Lacey Act for falsifying wildlife records and 9 counts of violating the Endangered Species Act. He was sentenced to 22 years in prison on 22nd of January last year. According to Representative Eric Love, Exotic's legal team has been corresponding with officials in Washington, D.C. in connection with arranging a pardon from Trump. His representatives have been chasing a pardon since April, when in coronavirus briefing, Trump suggested that he would take a look into the Oklahoma Zoo's owner's case. But part of their campaign for a pardon also included spending thousands of dollars in a Trump-owned hotel in an attempt to get the president's attention, according to the New York Times. An anonymous organizer told the publication that Exotic's team had spent around $10,000 during a visit to Trump's international hotel in Washington. This month, Republican Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz appeared on Fox News to say that he thinks Trump should pardon Exotic, as well as himself, before he leaves office in January. Gaetz suggested that the president should self-pardon to combat radical left bloodlust even, and added President Trump should pardon Michael Flynn, he should pardon the Thanksgiving turkey, he should pardon everyone from himself to his administration officials to Joe Exotic if he has to.
Can I make a point here?
Go for it.
I'm aware that we're before the watershed and we are going out on the radio station. So as a warning, there will be language in a second. Matt Gaetz is a fucking idiot. I've never heard anything come from his stupid face that's made sense or been coherent or well thought out in any way, shape, or form. And so the fact that he's actually gone on record to say that Trump should pardon himself indicates that he's quite aware that Trump has committed all of the crimes and has still stood there and said, no, Donald Trump is our president. And do you know what? The man can get in the seat.
So
because Trump has not been charged with any crime yet, so technically he can't pardon. But you can't be pardoned unless you've been charged.
Oh well, yeah.
So
there is.
In order to if he pardons himself, it is a preemptive pardon, which is then for in which case for what? Is it for anything?
Yeah.
Could he then become a serial killer and get away with it? It's a kind of dangerous game to play, surely, a preemptive pardon. I also hear that Rudy Giuliani is now angling for a pardon.
Yeah, I read that this evening. I mean, when the pardoning clause was put into the Constitution, if you read the Constitution, and I have, it is one of the most weirdly wide open pieces of it. There's nothing in the Constitution around saying he can grant pardons. It doesn't say to what extent or who to or anything like that. It's just really wide open. And I suppose it's on the basis that whoever occupied that office would be, I don't know, sane. And so, that's the thought. But I think the other important thing here is, and I think he and indeed a lot of other people in his camp seem to think that being pardoned makes you innocent. But actually, if you pardon that person, they are therefore guilty. They cannot be absolutely innocent of that. So when Flynn was pardoned last week, there was a whole load of stuff that went out saying, "Oh, he's now innocent. Oh, I'm really glad that I feel innocent." And the DOJ had to go and go, "No, he is not. He's just been pardoned. He's still guilty of what he's done." And this actually stamps to say you were guilty of what you've done. I will say, going back to Joe Exotic, right up Trump's Strasser. I'm amazed that hasn't happened already.
I'm surprised Exotic was never appointed as head of wildlife or head of his the national
EPA. If Trump had got in again, he would have been, wouldn't he? You know what I mean? Trump would have just gone, I'm filling this cabinet full of TV celebrities. Kanye West.
Well,
you can go to urban development. Off you go, fella. It was stuff like that, wouldn't it?
We'd have majestic Bengal tigers roaming once again through Yellowstone Park, as the good Lord intended.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But Yellowstone Park would, of course, be renamed to Exotic Park or something.
Well, he's selling off Anwar right now, isn't he, Trump? On the Anwar, which is the massive nature reserve, which is in northern Alaska, which is all basically tundra. And he's basically selling it off to the oil companies, who will now drill it and release stacks of methane and carbon dioxide into the atmosphere.
But that's fine, because 8 months from now, Donald Trump will be dead and he doesn't care.
Yeah, he and I'm borrowing this off the Daily Show, but they made this observation. He's now stripping America of parts and selling it all off.
He's become an asset stripper in these last few months.
Yeah, it really is very bizarre.
Well, thankfully, we're not led by idiots, eh?
Well, no.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Going back to the pardoning thing, do either of you listen to What Trump Can Teach Us About Con Law? Your blank faces tell me no.
No.
It's a podcast by Roman Mars from 99% Invisible. It's like a little side project that he does, where whenever something constitutional comes up in the news, he does a recording with a friend of his who is a constitutional law professor. She teaches at I think UC Berkeley, and they talk through what has been going on in the news and how that pertains to the Constitution. And the end result is I know more about the U.S. Constitution than I do about the rules and laws of my own country.
I can tell you about that in a second.
but the really fascinating thing about it is how many of the rules and norms that the president abides by are entirely voluntary. There's a shocking number of things that you would expect a president to do that are entirely voluntary. And this last 4 years has seen Trump drive through them like Boris Johnson through a big polystyrene wall. It's fascinating how flimsy the Constitution actually is, unless you want to take someone's guns, in which case it's rock solid.
So here's the thing. So number one, the UK Constitution doesn't exist. There's no one document. It's a collection of laws and conventions. But this is why those nutbars have been going, oh, I don't have to shut my shop because of Magna Carta article. You're like, you are a complete tool. First of all, Magna Carta is not a Bill of Rights. That was something which was popularised in the 19th century, along with a lot of things, the medieval period. If you want a people's charter for the medieval period, I'd beckon you towards the forest charters, which they did, which were actually for the common man. So the UK doesn't have a constitution. it's just a set of conventions, and the pieces that they have tried to put into law, this current government are trying to roll back, and undo because they don't like them, not because they don't like the laws, just like they don't like the people who use them. In the States, you're quite right. It's all about convention. It's all about, well, this person wouldn't do this, would they? Oh no, this person would, because the whole presidency was designed in a way that, and this is where the Electoral College comes from. The framers of the American Constitution did not trust the people at all. So they put in the college to sort of put a break on a nut bar getting into power, but actually the college put a nut bar into power. So it's not worked
on more than one occasion.
Yeah.
He's not the first nut bar to take that office, but he's possibly the worst.
Yeah, I would have said so.
I know that's a recency bias, but you think about Nixon. Nixon is the closest in relatively living memory, and Nixon was a statesman compared to this guy. Nixon knew his job, and say what you like about the guy, but at least he took the presidency to be the president, not to asset strip the country. He just had his own, esoteric views on what the job entails.
Yeah, and that he was deeply psychologically flawed because he was paranoid. And it's his paranoia that brought him down. I mean, if you...
like some other presidents we might care to mention.
Oh, joys.
Anyway, it's supposed to be a light-hearted podcast, isn't it? I'm sorry,
There's only one president who's been in Home Alone 2, so,
Wow.
Well, there is that, yeah.
Sorry that joke put an end to the serious discussion. So Joe Exotic wants to be pardoned. That's how we got into that. So we will move.
He went the right way about it though, because he spent all that money in hotels. If you see what he's done in terms of who he has made trade deals with and things like that, they've all done the same trick. They've all spent money in his hotels, and he's even made money out of going to Mar-a-Lago because he charges the Secret Service to stay there.
Yeah.
The guy's raked.
It's unbelievable how much he's made out of this. It's a real grift.
I would expect him to have made more in the last 4 years than he probably did in the previous 20.
But we're going to find out about that soon, aren't we?
Yeah, because I have a feeling that he was run everything into the ground before he became president. I expect he's used it as an opportunity to refill his coffers.
The lawyers.
I read a couple of things a while back that, firstly, if he had taken that money that his dad gave him, put it in a normal high-interest savings account, he would have more money now than he does. He wouldn't have gone bankrupt 4 times for a start. The other thing is Paris Hilton is worth more money than Donald Trump, which I love. I love that. Paris Hilton, also, heiress to hotels, in the hotel trade, you could say. She is a more canny investor than Donald Trump.
Yeah.
But could you see Paris Hilton in the Oval Office? Yes, actually, at this point, yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think everything's out the window now. Anyone.
It's all on the table now, isn't it? I mean, the dam's been broken on this one.
Yeah. Paris Hilton for president. Or Kanye. Let him have another go.
Where was I? Story number 3. That's what I was going to do. I was going to do story number 3.
Yeah.
Which was this one from the Taiwan News. And I've found that I have got an ad block and I'll turn it on now. This is in the Taiwan News. Taiwanese man sells PS5 after wife realizes it's not an air cleaner. In Taipei, this is earlier this month. Taiwanese man found himself having to put his new PlayStation 5 up for sale after his wife caught on to his attempt to pass it off as an air purifier. On November 21st, a Taiwanese Facebook user who listed himself as Jin Wu wrote that he had purchased a PS5 from a reseller the previous day. He said that after agreeing to pick up the device in person, he called the reseller's number and a woman answered the phone. Wu said that when he spoke to the woman about the console, she sounded like someone who does not frequently play games. He also marveled at the remarkably low price tag for the new device, cheaper than any others he'd seen. Despite the price, the woman seemed eager to sell it. When he met the owner of the console in person, he was surprised to see a middle-aged man whom he judged to be an avid gamer. When he began chatting with the man, Wu asked him where he had originally purchased it. The man responded that he bought it on the e-commerce website PC Home. Wu then complimented the man on his ability to find good bargains online and said, "Why did you buy two? Otherwise, why are you selling it?" The man was silent for a moment before saying, "My wife wants to sell it." He wore a bitter expression on his face, and Wu was at a loss for words. The seller then said, "It turns out the woman can tell the difference between a PS5 and an air filter." As early as June, netizens were comparing the new console to air purifiers with memes such as this going viral. For those who are watching, there's a picture of the new air purifier with the P being the PlayStation logo. And there we go. That's the end of that story.
It actually looks
I
like
can understand.
Darth Vader's palace, his castle, his citadel, I think it is. Feel free to Google that and you'll know exactly what I mean.
I think on the one on the volcano planet.
That's the one. Yeah. I photoshopped it. I photoshopped it a few weeks back for lols and got absolutely zero interaction on Twitter because that's how Twitter works.
You're not famous enough.
I'm not. Also, I spent more than 30 seconds on it. There's just a rule. If you spend 30 seconds on a Photoshop, it'll go viral. If you spend more than 30 seconds on it, it's a complete waste of time.
Oh, yeah. If you make it look good, then no one cares.
Nope.
So, I want to know, at what point did she twig that the PS5 was not the air cleaner? Is it that she got home one day and went, "This house still smells? That shouldn't be." Or was it that he was there with something coming out the back with a controller? Oh no, I suppose it's probably wireless, isn't it? But he's probably there fiddling with that.
Yeah, the controllers.
And he's like, "What's the slot for?"
I suspect it's when she saw a box that said Sony PS5 on it, and she was like, "Mate, I'm not an idiot."
Maybe that as well.
Yeah.
The article's interesting, and I don't know whether it's because it's been translated or the way it's written. But there was the line in it where it goes, "I could tell she was not a gamer. I could tell he was a gamer." I'm like, how did you do that? How did you deduce this? And that's what I want to know as well.
Gamers these days wear a badge if she was that says gamer. It goes along with their fedora.
I think also if she was a gamer, she'd probably be selling it for more if she'd realised how much it would be worth. Or if she was a gamer, she wouldn't be selling it. But
no.
That's the other thing I thought. They're out of pocket here, no matter what. Do game consoles are game consoles like cars that they depreciate as soon as they're sold?
I don't think so. I think you could still get top dollar for PS5.
For new ones, absolutely. They're probably, people have been buying them up and then selling them on for more than they're worth because the stock is so low. In general, pre like current times where stock problems arise, I think as soon as one is bought, it probably would go down a little bit, but not a huge amount, not like a car. And depending on what you've got, sometimes they then go back up again because sometimes future generations of the consoles have less features. They take certain things out, and then the old ones become more expensive if you've still got them. And I remember when our PS3 died, we had one of the PS3s that had backwards compatibility to the PS2.
Yeah, we had one of those.
Which the future ones then stripped out. And I've got my PS4, I've got downstairs, still has the demo of PT on it, which makes them more expensive.
Fortune now they are.
Yeah. So if I ever upgrade to the PS5, I might get a half decent amount for my PS4. There was a time when those ones with PT on it were worth a lot, but I don't think that's the case anymore. But...
Well, no, because they've killed it completely now, haven't they? They did have it running on. People did have it running on PS5, but they've completely wiped it now. You can't.
Oh, have they?
Yeah. You can't get it anywhere now. So if you've got it running on a PS4, there are people out there that will buy that PS4 off you. A bit like a few years ago when you had people that would pay really good money for an iPhone with Flappy Bird installed on it.
Yes, I remember that.
It's such a weird time in life.
Yeah,
because it was such a shit game.
Yeah, it really was.
That was the point.
Yeah, maybe.
But anyway, with regards to the PS5, I suspect that she had him sell it for much less than he paid for it, just as part of his punishment for being an asshole.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, that's not an inconsiderable amount of money, is it? Well,
it's a huge amount of money.
Yeah. So if I was to go and spend 500
that.
quid without telling my wife and then lie to her that it was an air freshener, he's lucky that he had a house to go back to.
This is true.
I mean, the brazenness of it is quite impressive in a way, isn't it? Just like, absolutely. She won't twig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to do that with CDs back when I was first with my first wife. I'd buy CDs on payday and you know, think, oh, I hope she doesn't notice. Of course she didn't notice. She didn't give a shit about my music collection. But I wasn't bringing a £500 gaming console into the house. I was bringing, buy two, get one free from HMV.
I still
CDs, for those who are too young to know, are little discs that were shiny and they had music on them. And you put it in the machine and that would play.
Little discs? Do you mean mini disc?
Well, no.
I was going to say.
Well, that's mini. That's a whole other thing. And the CDs were supposed to not scratch and deteriorate, but that did not happen. They scratched all the time, and they did deteriorate. And if you had one in the car, it would just jump and skip because you had to be level.
Actually, for those who are too young to know, a CD, right, is a Blu-ray without the videos on it.
What's a Blu-ray?
Well, the bloody PS5's got a Blu-ray drive. I just saw it on the picture there. I've never actually seen a PS5 in real life.
Well, yeah, there's two different models of the PS5. One of them has a Blu-ray drive in it. The other one doesn't. There's a cheaper version that's no disc.
Blu-ray's hanging in there, isn't it? It's
just about. I mean, it's
a weird thing, Blu-ray, isn't it? Because it was like, it's brilliant, it's fantastic, and I'm sure it is. But it came out sort of at the same or just after the DVDs. But they were more expensive, so most people didn't really go, well, I'm not going to shell out the extra.
The reason Blu-ray's hanging on in there is because Netflix keep taking movies off of their service. That's it and all about it. The amount of people if you're on Reddit on our movies, the amount of people who subscribe to all the various streaming services, but they will buy the Blu-rays that they want to own because they know that if it's on Netflix now, it won't be in 6 months' time. The same with Amazon Prime, and, all the services. So that's why Blu-rays still exist.
Absolutely. I mean, when you think about it as well, if you subscribe to all those services, it's really convenient. You can watch all sorts of things, but you don't own anything.
No.
So when it's gone, it's gone. When you've got Blu-rays, you can keep those.
I mean, by rights, you don't own the content of the Blu-ray. You just own a disc.
Well, true.
Licensing's crazy. You don't own anything.
You don't own anything. You don't own anything in your iTunes.
No.
Yeah, you can't pass on your iTunes catalog to somebody else.
No, but you can download your iTunes though.
Yeah, what you can do is torrent everything, and then then you do own it.
Yeah, funny.
Yeah.
No one's ever done that though, have they?
No.
No, that'd be illegal.
You can't see my Jolly Roger back there.
One thing I mentioned, obviously, our PS3 earlier, and when that died, and I had some issues with that because I used to have SingStar on the PS3. And we used to have SingStar parties with some of our friends back then, and I worked it out. I had about 90 quid's worth of downloaded tracks that we'd bought over a period of years. And when the PS3 died, and I had to get a new one, I didn't have access to any of those things anymore because they were registered to the other PlayStation. And I ended up on the phone to Sony for quite a long time because when I went into the Sing store, I wanted to try and re-download them. Not only was I not allowed to re-download them, I also wasn't allowed to buy them again. It's just completely grayed out, wouldn't let me do anything. And after about a 2-hour argument with Sony, they finally flicked a switch and let me download them all again.
Oh my God.
That's crazy.
Because I suppose back at that point, there was no cloud, was there? Because now I've got a lot of
they'd all be
Apple
saved
stuff.
online. Yeah,
It's all on the cloud. So if I get a new device, it goes straight on there from said cloud.
everything
So
goes
it's
on
not
there,
an issue.
Well, that
I
didn't.
could be wrong.
That never happened on the PSP. It's
I
like,
could
it
be
just
wrong, but I think
disappeared
that's
and lost it.
still the case with Nintendo. I don't know whether they've fixed it now with the most recent update, but it was the case until very, very recently that if you bought a new Switch because your old Switch died, you weren't able to transfer the details over.
Oh,
Yeah. And that's on their current gen console. That's crazy.
You're listening to
is
Console
crazy.
Chat.
Oh, we've done the gamut tonight, Lloyd. We've gone through US constitutional history, consoles. You know,
There's 3 people watching. What's wrong here?
We've got penis ice rinks still to come.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, if you are watching or listening, say hello.
Then.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll go on to what is our fourth and final story for today, and it's this one. This is in RT's website. It says Mayor of Novosibirsk defends decision to shape a city's main ice rink like a penis for the second consecutive year. I love the fact also this story is by Johnny Tickle. Which
That's not the John Tickle that was out off of Big Brother a few years back, was it?
Oh, I don't know.
John Tickle, who invented the toaster that toasted bread at 2 different rates, so that one wasn't cold when you. Do you remember that?
Didn't he also invent the tea bag bin?
He might have done, actually, yeah.
And he's done all right out of that one. I mean, everyone's like, that's ridiculous. But actually, you think about it, that's actually a pretty good thing to have.
Apparently, he writes for RT now about penis ice rinks.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, I suppose, apparently,
Well,
yes. Since last year, the main skating rink in Novosibirsk bore the brunt of many jokes when it was revealed to be shaped like a penis. Now, the city's mayor has explained that a phallus is the most efficient way to use the available space. Speaking to RAA Novosti on Friday, the mayor of the Siberian capital, Anatoly Lokot, explained that the authorities didn't consider the appearance of the ring, but purely wanted to maximize pleasure. Good wording. And they made it large enough to enable a sporting element, allowing for acceleration. Honestly, both this year and last year, the shape of the ice rink was just the last thing we had thought about. We thought about the area and maximizing the territory that can be occupied by an ice rink in order to not create crowding, he said. And there's some photos of the actual rink, all lit up at night for those who are watching. In the mayor's opinion, the winter has sparked some people's imagination, despite the fact that paths are the same shape in the summer. The infrastructure, alleys and paths are built that way, he said. And as soon as the ice appears, someone's imagination begins to play up. I hasten to assume not a healthy imagination. Apparently, they think about something. That's what imagination means, mate. Located in front of the Novosibirsk State Opera and Ballet Theatre, the city's central ice rink caused a stir last year when a drone took photos of its shape. Writing on Facebook, Vice Mayor Anna Treshkova brushed off the criticism, joking that real art should excite. There we go.
They missed a trick by not having the exit at the tip. Just the exit.
Well, they've got a Christmas tree at the tip.
Well, maybe they should see a doctor about it then. Yeah, just have all the little dudes coming out the end like that. But I'm just, what do I know? I don't think it's shaped like a penis at all because,
It should have had like Christmas trees around the bottom part. Let's say for the balls.
Yeah, if it was a decent speed cock, it would have, a few puby trees and all spunk coming out the end. That's the rules of speed cock.
Well, there we go. We can't get any lower than that, I don't think.
No.
Oh, we can. Should we try? Let's see how far we can go.
Why not?
Quite a lot of what he said there, like the most efficient use of space. I'm like, does he use this pattern on let's presume, other women? Is he using the same justification?
Hey, ladies, do you want to see my efficient use of space?
Not tonight. But this is the best way to use it.
The actual wording is like, we don't consider the appearance. It's just we want to maximize pleasure. We want it big enough that it's a sporting element. He's not actually talking about the rink, is he?
No.
maybe
But then,
not.
are we ever really talking about what it is we think we're talking about?
No.
Let's be honest, guys. Mostly that's what we talk about, isn't it? Whether you like it or not. It's all ice
about
rinks.
All
All we
ice
talk
rinks.
about is
all
ice
about
rinks.
the blue cock ice rinks.
Mm.
As
The
seen
Dr.
here.
Manhattan of ice rinks. Just swinging around between here and Mars.
Oh, joy. So there we
Anyway,
go. That's our...
He's in
Yeah.
Siberia.
Yes.
Siberia is not lacking in places to put ice. Siberia is famously quite chilly. You'd think that they wouldn't need an ice rink in the middle of their cities on account that there's a lot of ice to be found in the area.
But I suppose if you live in a town, then maybe that is more of an issue, because obviously there are other, urban facilities around, and also it's a civic space, isn't it? And you have that,
and you have to fill it with big icy cocks.
Absolutely, because it's the best use of space.
Very efficient. Icy cocks.
So possibly, and Siberia is massive as well. So it might be that it's part of Siberia that doesn't get as much snow. So maybe I don't know.
I like the fact that they've basically built this on the paths and the areas that exist there anyway, which means, like they say, it's only more evident when there's an ice rink on it. But the shape is there.
And you
all
fly a
year
drone
round.
above it,
And but the shape is there all around, which basically means, do you think the town planner did it deliberately?
Who among us hasn't designed a big penis into our paths? Let ye who is without sin.
Anyone who has played SimCity and not.
Path.
We had snow here yesterday in Bucharest. It's all melted now, but it wasn't sufficiently big enough to go out and play in it and stuff. But every year it has. That's pretty much the first thing I've drawn in the snow.
Yeah, that's just law. That's what you do. Bit of grime on the back of a work van. Speed car.
Yeah. 6:30 in the morning and going to work. Let's draw a massive penis on the pavement
Mayor of
here.
a town in northern Russia. Speed cock. It's just how it is.
It's just what you do.
Yeah.
It's just this is the way.
Yeah.
So there we go. That is our 4 stories today. So we have, just to recap the headlines, we've just finished this one. The mayor of Novosibirsk defends decision to shape city's main ice rink like a penis for the 2nd consecutive year. Before that, we had the Taiwanese man who sold his PS5 after a wife realized it's not an air cleaner. We had Joe Exotic reportedly spending $10,000 at the Trump Hotel trying to get a presidential pardon. And we had the bizarre Pokemon trading card ban that's been lifted by Uri Geller. So, Lloyd, as you won the competition, the little quiz at the beginning of the show, which of those do you think is the story of the week?
Oh, it's got to be the last one, isn't it? The penis-shaped ice rink. I mean, it goes without saying.
Nice rink.
Fair enough. Nice rink.
Yes.
There we go. And there's the episode title for today. Episode 57 is Nice Rink.
I will take that.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for that. So that is the end of that section. We've got about 10 minutes left of the show. So when we get instances like this, we spend a bit of time trying to inject a bit of positivity into people's week. So is there anything that has been good that you want to talk about today, guys?
I introduced my boy to In Bruges this week, and I feel like I'm parenting correctly in having done that.
That is. Well, how old is he?
16.
That's fine, then. Yeah, good.
Perfectly fine.
Yeah.
It opens up with a monologue from what's his name? Colin Farrell.
Ground Farrell. Okay.
Yeah, it opens up with a monologue from him talking about and we've had to come to fucking Bruges. This is the first line, the first thing. And I looked at Billy and I said, oh, by the way, there's some language in this one, and it might be a bit strident at places. And well, yes, it's very strident language, and it's a wonderful movie. What was nice?
Did he enjoy it?
We loved it. What was nice is that, like I pointed out to him, it's a really good example of a film that looks a lot more stupid than it is. It's a ridiculously intelligent movie, and you can take from it what you want. Do you know? You can come away from it having just watched a movie about two hapless hitmen having to hide out in Bruges, or you can come away from it having seen it as an allegory for purgatory. The amount of things that Martin McDonagh, the director, actually tells you. You know, they're stood in the art gallery looking at that Bosch painting of purgatory. You know, it's all right there, and there's so many themes and so many beautiful things about that movie that you don't have to see if you don't want to.
What's a weird thing about In Bruges is that it has spawned a lot of people to go to Bruges thinking it'll be a really good, fun, crazy place. Bruges is lovely.
It's like a fairy tale.
But it is not a place for stag do's. When I was there a few years ago with an ex-partner of mine, we were just going around going, there's a lot of stag do's there. I'm like, this is not a stag do destination. It's a nice little town, but it's lots of bars and the beer's wonderful, but it is not a stag do destination. I'm like, these guys must be running out of stuff to do very rapidly. On films to sort of share with your son, could I recommend Human Traffic?
Yes, you could, and
that's a fantastic film.
Along with 24-Hour Party People.
Watching
that one as well.
Yeah, that works with that kind of genre. Also, the Jay and Silent Bob movies. I'd recommend those. They're perfect for a 16-year-old.
Yeah, I think you could be right. Clerks is a good.
Clerks is very, very good. Clerks 2 is fantastic as well. It's a very underrated film. I love Clerks 2.
That's a controversial view among many.
Wow. And of course Dogma.
I love Dogma.
That's a fabulous film.
I was thinking about Alan Rickman today, actually.
Yeah.
I saw something about Alan Rickman recently because I think it was a clip shared online from something to do with Galaxy Quest, and him saying something about Tim Allen, which I found amazing.
Galaxy Quest went up on Netflix today.
Oh, did it? That's cool. There's a very cool documentary about Galaxy Quest knocking around. I think the guys at Screen Junkies made it or had something to do with it. You can find it on YouTube, I'm sure, but it's supposed to be very, very good. And it's all about that. I think Justin Long might have made it because he was in it.
Hammer. What a savings. That's the best line in any film.
Yeah.
I think the thing I saw was
as good as the line in Bruges that I said to Billy, the best line in any movie is coming up soon, and it's cut it out, Harry. It's just an inanimate object. You're an inanimate fucking object.
Oh, it's a good film.
So Billy has now started calling me an inanimate object, which
I've got another one.
Good.
This is very, very good. Empire Records.
I love that movie.
It's phenomenally good.
Yeah, we've already watched that one. He was less taken by the
really.
Well, yeah, because what's a record store to a 16-year-old?
That's a good point. But what I would say, even though it's in a record shop, it's still got a lot of things which I think young people. Oh, I feel so old when I say that. Can relate to. That actually is probably due a reboot, isn't it?
I hope not.
But because you can change the setting.
You'd have to set it and make it a period piece.
No, you'd reboot it in a different scenario, but you'd have a very similar stuff. I don't know. A
lot of it wouldn't. I don't think a lot of it would. Well, you'd have to change a lot, and it wouldn't be the same film then.
I tell you what, it would be. It would be set in a coffee shop, come secondhand vintage vinyl store. Something like that.
Okay, yeah.
You're treading very close to High Fidelity there, which also would be a good one on your list.
High Fidelity, have you seen that has been rebooted?
Yes, and I heard it wasn't that great, and which I'm disappointed in.
I quite enjoyed it.
Was it good? Because
I didn't miss that they'd redone that. When did they do that?
Yeah.
Well, it's a TV series. It was done as a series with Zoe Kravitz.
Yes, and I heard about the premise and thought that's brilliant. They flipped gender, which I would have definitely done because then it's not a straight reboot. and it would have done something quite interesting with it. But High Fidelity is a fantastic
It
film.
is great.
Speaking of movies and reboots, Lloyd, I was listening to Fantasy Reboot podcast the other day,
Yes,
which a mutual friend of ours does, and I heard you on it, and I was like, finally, thank God, someone finally mentioned the Muppets thing, because if you hadn't this week, I would have.
Yeah.
A girl we used to go to school with, and her husband and family and friends do this podcast called Fantasy Reboot, and every week they take a different film and they have a little chat about, and they choose who they would if they would reboot, who would the new cast be. And then at the end of every episode, they sit and sort of say, could this be a Muppets movie? And then they try and cast it again with Muppets in each of the roles. But they always missed out this one thing until Lloyd pointed it out on the recent episode, is that Muppet movies always have a central main human character. And then the Muppets all go around them. And they were forgetting that.
Yeah. I also made a point on there because every week they were bickering over the Twitter poll. So the premise is that they try to reboot it within it, but they also put out a Twitter poll of what they've picked and get the public to vote on it. And they're always bickering, oh, you always pick nice pictures of the ones that you did. Yeah. So I said to them, so why don't you just use the ones on IMDb? So I think that's what they're doing as well. But I mentioned this to them months ago. He got round to it this week, so I don't know how many they were ahead of this because
they are quite a few. Because I emailed them a suggestion about something which I think is on next week's. It will be on next week's pod.
I need to add that to my queue then.
You should. It's actually very good.
It's very good. Yeah, it's a very good show.
I had the same idea. This is why I kind of got quite involved with it on the ground floor when they had it. I was like, and I completely independent from what they had done. I'd sort of come up with this idea to do the same thing, and they sort of beat me to it. But they do a very good job of it, actually.
Yeah, it's very well produced.
Well, he should do. He works in radio.
Well, as a professional radio DJ,
yes, of many years.
Well, do a professional job.
And
I asked unprofessional radio DJs.
Yeah, the world of Dubai radio is very bizarre and interesting.
I only knocked one song off air last night.
Oh, really good. Hey, you know what? I did.
And they're all delightful, apparently, your songs.
My show, it's all lovely. Yeah. Sunday was the country show I did on Sunday was the first in, I think, 4 shows that I've now done on the Bear where I hadn't crashed a lyric. So I'm quite happy with that. Small improvements.
Yeah.
Although I did play the wrong song.
The app I use to play out the tunes, I can set the start point for the lyrics so I can talk up to it. So I'm good. That doesn't mean I always manage it, but I can still see when it's coming.
Oh, good.
I can see that I'm about to fail.
Right. Well, we got just under a minute left on the
what
Bear.
nice things have you done this week, Al?
Yeah.
This week, I bought some stuff on Black Friday, which is quite exciting for me. I am going to be taking. Oh, yeah. Well, one of them was not so exciting. It's a new car seat for Hunter because we realized last week that he is this close to outgrowing the current car seat that we've got.
Funny thing, children grow.
Yeah, I know, but he grows quicker than expected. So now we've had to, unfortunately, we got over 100 quid off on Black Friday for that. And new TV. So we've got a new TV coming on Thursday.
Exciting times.
Yes, new Sony Bravia 4K is coming. So thanks to my father-in-law who sent me my birthday present of vouchers early so we can get even more money off it.
Nice.
Yay.
I'm hoping the postal service in Romania will not let me down and that my slightly weird address doesn't prove a problem as well. So I live in the street that I live on looks like, and I actually even wrote to Google Maps that on Google Maps, it looks like a service road of a road, but the road actually has its own address. And there's the same road as another road, exactly the same name, just up the road. So when I get things delivered, I get this very angry phone call. Where are you? I'm like, do you speak English? A little. Where are you? I said, well, I'm at this address. This is not on the map. Okay, yeah, we've had this problem before. I will come downstairs, 5 flights, and I will start waving at you frantically. So I've ordered things for Christmas.
we're into extra time now, by the way. We're on video. We're off the radio now. We are on extra time on video. So if you're watching us, you're getting the additional bits at the end of the show. Indeed. You saying that, Lloyd, you mentioned, you reminded me of something that happened once when I was working at Aviva. We had two guys who had very similar addresses, both of whom were customers of ours. Both had the same postcode and the same street name and the same number, but there were different streets. Apparently there's two streets in Leeds that have got the same name and incredibly similar postcodes that they always get muddled up. And this guy phoned up one day and went, "You've sent me this letter to say that you need more information about a bill that you've received, but I haven't had any treatment, so there shouldn't be any bills. What's going on?" And through looking it up, I realized, oh, sorry, it's because this is not for you. It's for someone else who lives in a very similar address. I'm very sorry. And the guy went, this explains a lot. Like, it just dawned on him why he's got a load of mail. He said, because last week I had an email, had a letter from the Vauxhall garage saying that there was a fault on some parts and they were doing an emergency recall on my Astra van, and I don't have an Astra van. He said, so it must be for the other guy. I was like,
have they got the same name or something?
I then phoned the other guy and said, very sorry, it turns out that we sent a letter to someone who wasn't you about your treatment. Don't worry, there was no personal information in it. But also, you need to take your van back to the Vauxhall dealership because there's a problem with one of your parts. And explained it to him, and he was like, "Oh, really? Oh, I better look that up. Oh, thanks so much for letting me know."
I can only imagine like that scenario happening, and he goes, "Well, actually, now I know. I'm going to take this letter around." I go, "I've got this. I'm really sorry that you've got 10 days to live." Then walk off.
Or take it round there, and they say, "Do you want a lift home?" And no, you're all right, mate.
Weird times.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Actually, seeing as we're into after hours, I want to change the subject completely. Lloyd, what is your problem with his Dark Materials? We've been trailing this.
We never sorry, yeah, that's a good point. So, okay, so
why you hate it?
Hate is the wrong word. I have a problem with it because I tried to read the books, but both my mum and my brother had read it, and they're like, "You've got to read it. It's really good." Started to read it, and I could not get along with the prose at all. I thought it was really slow, and I couldn't get into it. And I thought, oh, TV series, okay, maybe this will get me back into it. And it was the same problem. I'm like, this is just plodding along. I know this, I could deconstruct what's going to happen here. This is clearly a parallel universe, and the one they're diverging you to is ours. I'm like, just can we get there already? And I just couldn't. Well, not deal with it at all.
That's not really the main thrust of the story. There's a lot more story than that.
I'm sure, but it's just I couldn't, and there was not enough in there to keep me interested in that build up.
Okay, and the way you reacted to it, I thought it was like you had some, like, you loved the books unconditionally.
No.
Something about the TV series.
No, not at all. And I watched at least 4, maybe even 5 episodes of series 1. And I love Ruth Wilson. I think she's amazing. And the acting is pretty good in it. That was not a problem. There was some real inconsistency with the soul animals. I can't remember what they're called now.
Demons.
The demons. There was some real bad inconsistencies with that, and that was bugging the hell out of me.
Yeah, they got a lot of stick on the forums in the first series for them.
Yeah. Just like, well, they've all got to have the demons. I mean, you have to see them all the time, and if you're going to do this series, you've got to go all in.
Yeah, they saved a lot of money by only giving half.
Yeah. And so, no, it wasn't a situation like that. I mean, I had that with the Sharp series many moons ago because I read the whole Sharp series books, which are phenomenally good, and the TV series is terrible in comparison because it's so small scale, and the Sharp books are huge scale. That would be an amazing reboot now because of the budget that television has and the technology we have. They could do Sharp amazingly now.
Twist it though and give it to the guys who did Game of Thrones.
That'd be so good. They do a good job of it. I mean, because those books are phenomenal. So
where they've got the books to work from though. Once they start once they start leaving the canon, that's when it all falls to shit.
Yeah. Well, they have a complete set of books, so that wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah,
They'd find something to fuck up.
Yeah. I think
they'd be like, no, we've reached the end. We're going to keep going.
Yeah. I think it's so. No, I didn't have a problem with Dark Materials in that respect. I just couldn't get into it,
Right.
and I'm at this point, and there's so much out there to watch and to get into.
Yeah, exactly.
If
you don't click with something, there's no
just
point
bail
going
out.
on.
There's no point sticking in with it anymore. It's like,
no, I agree.
And I get that with reality TV shows. So like we're talking about Tiger King earlier. I've never seen Tiger King. The reason being that by the time it became this thing, everyone had seen it, and I was like, I see how this ends. So there's no point watching it.
Why bother spending your time watching people you hate?
Wow, that's the whole other thing, isn't it?
Realization with The Apprentice. I was watching The Apprentice, but I could bitch about it on Twitter. And then I think it was Haley pointed out to me, like, why are you watching something to be angry at it? I was like, oh yeah, that's actually a really good point. I need to.
But the problem,
exactly, absolutely.
The problem with Apprentice, of course, now is that it's contrived.
I mean,
that's the problem, and a lot of reality TV is. I mean, actually, weirdly, it's probably why Bake Off survives so long. It's not. They literally let it go, and it will still be compelling. And other TV series where they have that reality element to it feel like they can't do that. It's just very peculiar.
Bake Off has a niceness to it that helps it to.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got that heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though it jumped from BBC to Channel 4, and everyone's like, "Oh, it'll be terrible." Actually, it's worked still well.
I didn't watch the first couple of series on Channel 4.
I always remember reading about it. I don't know if the new current presenters still do it, but I remember hearing Mel and Sue talking about that. If there was someone really having a tough time, when a lot of reality shows would focus on that and drill into it, they used to just stand behind them going, "Fuck, shit, bollocks,"
yeah, I think they still do
use
that.
the footage.
Yeah, I think they still do that.
So, I quite like.
There's definitely seems to be a lot of empathy. Noel Fielding is. Yeah. If you see what I like about Noel Fielding, he's a very empathetic kind of guy.
Watching Bake Off, I've really changed my attitude to Fielding. I really didn't like him. I don't know what it was. I think it was because it's that he's his style of comedy is very irreverent, and it tends to attract the worst kind of people. In the sense, not the worst kind of people. Racists don't like him, but it attracts the kind of people that will smugly recite the lines and strip them of any joy and fun. And I think dress like him, but he could actually perfectly decent.
He could still go into a room full of women at the ages of 30 to 35 and take any one of those home he wished. Because when I first started teaching, all the girls that were in sixth form, year 11 and year 10 all loved him. And they genuinely loved him. And I'm like, that, and it was a kind of love that would last the rest of their life. They're all now going to be in their early 30s, which is upsetting.
The same way that girls in our school still love Gary Barlow.
Exactly that,
yeah. Do you know what? One of the girls I went to uni with, she would have been 21 in 2010 we graduated, so she'd be in roughly that age bracket. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. She dressed like him. She dressed like him and everything.
I never got into the Mighty Boosh at all, but I could see how it was funny, and I could see bits of it were. But there are other things that I preferred.
The best bit of the Boosh for me, I mean, I've watched a few, and again, some bits I found hilarious and others not. The best bit for me was when they go into the guy's office and they just sit there and he presses play on his tape player and it starts playing Dreadlock Holiday, and he just stands there, and as soon as he gets to the bit where it says, "I don't like cricket," he stops it and goes, "And that's why I don't like cricket." I just thought that was fucking hilarious.
Brilliant.
On the subject of things that are funny, even though you can't work out why they're funny, did you see my tweet earlier about the Sex Pistols thing?
No.
So today was the anniversary of the Sex Pistols swearing on the Bill Grundy show, and it reminded me of. Did you ever see that Kevin Eldon bit?
Oh, actually, you We mentioned this last week. Yeah.
There was
Because we had the story come back last week about the guy with the geese.
Do you know what? I saw that and I was so annoyed that I couldn't do this. That's why it was like,
yeah,
he's back.
And we pointed out
Yes!
that on this one of these photos of this guy,
He looked like Kevin Eldon.
TV's Kevin Eldon.
I love Kevin Eldon.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, I've run out of anecdotes then. I can only talk about the same thing. It is, Lloyd, for your benefit, Lloyd.
Yeah, go
you
for
can
it.
turn your headphones off. For his TV show, for Kevin Eldon's TV show, he recreated that scene with the Sex Pistols.
Yeah. I think I've seen that. Yeah.
Shot. Perfect remake, but they were Amish.
Yes, they're so
That was
good.
the
Yeah,
joke.
I remember that.
But it's like, why is that funny?
Yeah.
Why is that
Because
funny?
it's so
Yeah,
absurd,
it is.
isn't it?
It's
Because it's unexpected and absurd. Yeah.
There's a TV series, and I was reminded of it earlier because I think I was listening to a podcast and they mentioned it. Oh, because it was Matthews who co-wrote Father Ted. I can't remember his name. Thingy Matthews, Arthur Matthews.
Arthur
He
Matthews.
was on Richard Herring's podcast. They were talking about Toast because he wrote Toast of London. Have you seen that?
No.
You'll love it.
I've seen the first couple of episodes. The first episode, but very much not my wife's humor.
Oh, it's so funny.
That's one of the ones that I have to watch when when she's upstairs playing a game. But I've got audio stuff to work on at the minute, so I've not been watching any telly at all.
Clem Fandango.
Yeah.
So funny. No, that would be a recommendation.
So it was written by Arthur Matthews, was it?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I didn't realise that.
Him
and Matt Berry.
The only person that wrote Father Ted. Father Ted's sole writer was Arthur Matthews.
Sole writer. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Amazing that a man could write something so genius all on his own.
It's amazing, and have a really, really, really quite a profound effect on Irish culture.
All on his own, without any help from anyone else.
Nobody else was involved.
Absolutely.
Nope.
Yeah,
Nope.
brilliant.
Nope.
What a guy.
I read earlier on the subject of people that have never worked with Arthur Matthews. I read earlier that Graham Linehan's wife has left him over all of his turfiness, which is hilarious and sad.
Yeah. I did follow him for a bit on Twitter, and it started going. I was like, I'm bailing out. He's gone.
Do you know? Weirdly,
it's a sad point when it gets to that, isn't it?
Yeah,
weirdly,
I can't read this anymore. In
a weirdly circuitous way, part of the reason I'm here right now talking to you is because of Graham Linehan. Because I followed Linehan way back in the day before he went off the rails. And he retweeted Nicholas Papaconstantino, Nick's site. And it was... So I started following him because I was like, he's in Southampton, So I started following Nick's site. And then it was earlier in the year. I think don't know whether he retweeted something you'd said or I'd seen him.
Possibly.
Yeah. And I was like, this Al Bear is in Southampton and he does podcasts. I shall follow him. So, by some weird circuitous turn of events, we've got Graham Linehan to thank for the fact that I'm sat here polluting your headphones.
Oh, dear.
We'll add that to the char sheet, shall we?
Yeah, very much so.
Excuse me.
It's been emotional, but I should probably go to bed.
That seems like a fun. Yeah, I was going to say that seems like a fun spot to end the show. That's really.
Yeah, I just haven't spoken to anyone for days, so I'm a bit like,
Oh, mate,
we had a long weekend here this weekend.
Yeah, we're not talking to people.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right for a while, then you just start going, I'm starting to lose it, maybe. I've got work tomorrow, so I probably ought to go.
Thanks to everyone who has watched. So we will be back again, I expect, next Tuesday. Darren will be back on the Bear Monday night. I'm back on the Bear Thursday and Sunday night. So thanks, everyone, and we'll see you again soon.
Farewell.
Ciao.